Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 24. Maybe in a few cycles.
And Trump loved Nick. He looked at me, he said, "Where did you find this kid?"
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and in a shocking turn of events, yes, today, a couple extremely rare Trump W's. And guys, I got to tell you, on this channel, I criticize where criticism is due, and I give credit where credit's due, and credit is due on this one, because anybody comes out and says America first things, or defends the Constitution, defends people's First Amendment rights, whether you're left, right, or center, is going to get a thumbs up from me, and that is actually what happened today. Because Donald Trump broke with all of the MAGA base and came out and defended Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes' right to free speech and platforming. Huh. Wow, imagine that. You gotta imagine little Mark Levine and Ben Shapiro just shit their pants in a furious rage over this, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about this. And then the second W, maybe more in quotes, is Trump calling on Republicans to now release the Epstein files after 10 months of blocking them. There may be a little bit of political strategy to this that we're going to talk about, right? So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Let's jump into the video. Let's see what Trump's got going on today. And look, before we get started, before you run to the comment section, but Tucker Carlson's a Nazi. We're not playing this game anymore, okay? Just shut the fuck up, all right? We're in an open marketplace of ideas now where as long as you are within the bounds of the First Amendment, you have the right to say whatever you want. Okay, that's where we are now. I don't care if you're left, right, center, you're Destiny, you're Hassan, you're Nick Fuentes. You have a right to go ahead and speak your mind, because this is America, and we will always defend that on this channel, and that's what Donald Trump did today. And we're actually gonna give him some claps. Now, this doesn't offset, 100 other America Last policies, but it's a step in the right direction, which we like to see. Let's check out what he had to say.
Tucker Carlson, what role do you think Tucker Carlson should play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
You yourself had dinner with Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago. What role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way.
So I do think it's kind of funny, one of the most controversial presidents in U.S. history talking about how he's not controversial. But to his point there, yeah, guess what? Tucker can interview anybody he wants. So can anybody else. Now, what I've already seen Democrats do all over the internet, you've already seen the titles. Trump defends white supremacist Nick Fuentes. How could he? Democrats, shut the f up. Okay? You were doing so well supporting free speech there for a little while. Do not get back into this 2020 to 2024 censorship deplatforming argument. Do not get on board with Mark Levine and Ben Shapiro, who, by the way, are probably stroking out right now in absolute rage after they called for both Tucker and Nick and Candace Owens to all be censored, canceled, and deplatformed, as we saw here.
What do you mean we don't cancel people? We canceled David Duke. Donald Trump canceled David Duke. We canceled Pat Buchanan. We canceled the John Birch Society. We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them.
So this type of behavior should be disavowed by everyone across the political spectrum. Everyone, Democrat, Republican, should actually be defending Donald Trump, saying, thank you, Mr. President, for defending free speech. Unlike these Israel First lobby shitheads who are doing everything they can to destroy it. Now, was Trump really being that honest when he was talking about Nick, though? Because from what I've heard, he's a pretty big fan of Nick Fuentes, probably up until recently when Nick has started to absolutely dumpster on him, just like everybody else in the America First movement. But here's what Kanye said about their dinner.
Yeah, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 24. Maybe in a few cycles.
And Trump loved Nick. He looked at me and said, where did you find this kid?
So Trump loved Nick Fuentes when he met him. I mean, Democrats are going to have a field day with that one, I'm sure. But Trump has actually broken ranks with everyone else in his MAGA movement on this. You got the Shapiros, you got the Levines, the entire Daily Wire, all of them crying about Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Even J.D. Vance completely disavowed them.
He had previously dined at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. Does this have any room in your movement, in the MAGA movement?
Of course it doesn't have any room in the MAGA movement. And of course,
you disavow him and this.
And of course, Donald Trump has criticized this person. Look, I think the guy's a total loser. Certainly I disavow him. But if you...
Now that's interesting, JD, that now you totally disavow him and you think he's a total loser. Because I was able to dig this up from when you were out there defending Donald Trump or when he did have dinner with Nick Fuentes and Kanye. Oh, what's this, JD? This is from August 11th, 2024, over a year ago, leading up to the election. You said J.D. Vance likes that Trump will talk to anybody. And then, of course, the article puts in there, including Nazi-loving Nick Fuentes. Ooh, scary. The GOP vice president nominee defended his running mate's dinner with the hate leader who recently attacked Vance's wife. So here you go. During an interview that aired Sunday on This Week, ABC's Jonathan Karl asked Vance about Fuentes' remarks and Trump's dinner with the white supremacists, alongside controversial rapper Kanye West, who has praised Hitler multiple times. Ooh. Vance responded, the one thing I like about Donald Trump is he is actually willing to talk to anybody, but just because you talk to somebody doesn't mean you endorse their views. Wow. Yeah, duh. That's the entire point. I don't know what happened there, JD. You sort of flipped pretty dramatically on that stance. Interesting. So Trump is the only one in the party actually still standing up for people's right to free speech now, I guess. Bizarre. Now, what's really going on here? Is Trump putting the America first foot down, getting back to Americanism ideals, defending free speech? Maybe. Or maybe this is kind of just smart politically, right? So what we have going on here, if you're MAGA, and most MAGA is too stupid to realize this. Sorry if you are one. You cannot disavow Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and hope to win any election in the future, including the midterms or 2028. Tucker has a massive fan base on the conservative right. Disavowing him, trying to smash him out of your party is political suicide. It's ridiculous. You have to build coalitions. So if you look at the left, all kinds of coalitions there. You've got far left socialists, borderline communists. You've got neocon liberals. You've got moderates. You have this big coalition. Now, if the right wants to win elections, it also has to bring in coalitions, which means MAGA, or whatever this weird amalgamation of what is now liberal neocons plus the Israel First lobby, if they want to disavow all of the American First audience, good luck. Like, you're not going to win another election. So Trump may actually be seeing that and deciding, hey, we got to bring these people back into the fold, or 2026 is going to be an utter blowout and Trump is going to be a lame duck president. You'd think J.D. Vance would have been smart enough to realize that. Also with Nick Fuentes, whether you like him or not, or you think he's a Nazi or white supremacist, is irrelevant because he controls the young Gen Z male conservative vote. It's not even close. You disavow him, there goes your young vote. Election cycle over. Now, is this an olive branch? Is that what Trump's doing? He's extending the olive branch back out to Tucker, back out to Nick, saying, hey, come on, we got to bring the coalition back together. We got to reunify under MAGA or whatever we're going to call it. Maybe it might be, and that actually would be the smart political move to do for Republicans. But I will say this is going to enrage Trump's Israel First base. But again, Trump's got a long way to go to get back to any semblance of America First. We've seen that. But again, at least as a step, one baby step in the right direction. Now, we got to talk about the second W, right? Trump now all of a sudden has had a change of heart, and he is calling for Republicans to release the Epstein files. That's just, what? After 10 months of doing everything in his power to keep them blocked, now all of a sudden he wants them just released. And we're going to talk about why this may be. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes here. All right, the first one to pay attention to is that Republicans in the House are already fracturing away from Trump, saying that they are going to vote yes to release the Epstein files. This could be a move for Trump of getting ahead of this and just saying, I support Republicans doing this, because as more and more Republicans fracture before this vote, it would look horrible for Donald Trump if 50 to 100 Republicans break ranks with the sitting president and vote against his wishes. All right, so this way, when the vote goes through in the House, and keep in mind, it gets very, very complicated because it's still got to go through in the Senate, Trump gets to say, look, I called for the files to be released. There's nothing else more I could do about it. Gives great plausible deniability, potentially. All right, the next big thing nobody's really talking about or paying attention to is that still got to pass the Senate. All right, Republicans struggled to get 5 Republicans to break ranks in the House out of 200 plus House members. Then they have to take it to the Senate, and it'll need 60 votes. That I don't see happening. And this is where I think the strategy is going to come into play. We'll have to wait to see how this pans out. But what I think is happening here is Trump is going to endorse the release of the files. Republicans are going to vote to release the files. And then the Senate will block the release of the files. And then Trump gets to say, I told them to do it, and they didn't. See, I'm exonerated. And the American people get to be furious, and the Epstein files never come out. What you also have is another backup plan. If you didn't see, Donald Trump has now opened a formal investigation into the Epstein files, which didn't exist recently, but now they exist, even though they're a hoax. There's now an investigation open. So what that backup plan does is having Pam Bondi open up this investigation into the files. When it comes time to release the files to the public, unfortunately, no, sorry. The judge will not allow that to happen because we can't release evidence to the public during an open investigation. Rats. So what I see here is probably just political pandering and strategy. I think, God, I hope that we get the files released just because it's the right thing to do. But the way I see things being set up here, it looks to me like it's being set up in a way to where Trump can say, I told them to release the files. The files don't get released, and there's plausible deniability for why. And we move along. And yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be absolutely furious about that. But I mean, I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see. This could just be go all the way through, and the Republicans release the files in the House and then in the Senate, and Trump doesn't veto because he can still have the right to veto this as it gets to his desk. And the entire files could be released completely unredacted. None of the information missing, none of the pictures burned and bleached, and videos are gone, right, after being in the hands of government officials and the FBI for, 6 years now? Yeah, probably. Probably not. Even if the files do release, probably not really going to get much out of it. But maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Just have to wait and see. If I had to guess, our politicians are crafty. They are very crafty, and they don't care about the American people. So I don't have high hopes necessarily that we're ever going to see the files, but who knows? So again, well done by President Trump, standing up for free speech. And yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the files this week. Do it for this one. Catch you in the next one.